Hey, what's up? It's Cole. So today I'm going to be talking to you about a very interesting question Dr. Lorimer asked me during my session last week. Now, I don't really know why, I just haven't really thought about this. Basically, his question was, why now? Why is it that you chose to, come out right now rather than previously in life or later on in life? Like, why was now the ultimate time that you felt that you were ready and that you had to say it now? Now, for anybody that's not interested in this topic, I'm just going to give you a quick update on how close I am starting T and whatnot. First of all, so I've got a last blood test from my GP that I had done yesterday. She dragged me like 3 times because she couldn't get any blood, which was quite painful, but hey, it's cool. Gonna have to get used to it eventually. Now, so I get my results back hopefully, tomorrow or Tuesday, because Monday's bank holiday. So once I've got those, I need to then send them off to Dr. Seal, who is the endocrinologist for gender care. Once I've had that, then he will send out a letter to my GP, to me and to Dr. Lorimer, and then hopefully I'll then be prescribed. So yeah, I'm just hoping it's going to be sometime within the next week, the email that will be sent out. Otherwise I couldn't say how long it's going to be. So yeah, it should be Monday that Dr. Lorimer emails me, so I will let you guys know ASAP if he does. Now then, continuing on with the topic. So as I say, he asked me why now. Now I'll tell you a bit of sort of backstory. The reason I'm doing this is because when I was sort of trying to discover myself and trying to understand my gender and just sort of, accepting myself as transgender, I looked on YouTube for people that I could relate to. Now, there were a few, but then there were some people that I just couldn't relate to whatsoever. I didn't understand their story, I didn't understand their reasons and whatnot, and obviously it's different for everyone. So I'm doing this mainly to, help out anybody else that was in my position and is somewhere underneath this massive transgender umbrella, that would like somebody to relate to. So here's my story, basically. So let's have a look. Back in the day, since I can remember, I've always been, very sort of tomboyish and I just haven't leaned towards the girly side of things at all. Never related to it, never found it interesting, never, the whole Barbies and dolls and the stereotypical things that a little girl does, okay? Now, when I was a kid, I was outside playing football every day with the boys, I was climbing trees, I wanted Action Man toys and Hot Wheels, if anyone remembers that from England, Hot Wheels toys. But I didn't ask my mum for those because for some reason I was worried that she'd get angry and be like, no, those are for boys. Even though she's not like that, but I don't know. I was just a worrier when I was a kid. So I remember one time when I was I was in infant school, so that would have been, maybe 5 or something. I asked my mum for a pair of boys, they weren't boxers, but they were like briefs. And she actually bought me them, and I went into school the next day, and I remember showing my best friend. We went into the corner of the playground and I showed her them because I was so excited that I was wearing boys' pants back in the day. I dressed up as Batman for Halloween, all different things. It was never anything feminine. Now anything that was, my own, for example, my teddy bear that I used to have, that was, if anybody called it a girl, I'd be genuinely offended. No, he's a boy. What do you mean? Anything that I owned was always male, whether it was a teddy bear, a toy, just any object that clearly had no gender, it was always male. If it was female, it was offensive to me. And I think the reason for that was because, I don't know, it was just me, because I knew that I wasn't male, physically, I had to have everything around me male to feel more comfortable and feel more secure. I don't really know. I could have that wrong. I don't know. I haven't really analysed that fully myself in my head quite yet, but off the top of my head, that's probably the best way I can put this. But yeah, so as I basically continued through life, obviously I came out as a lesbian, thinking, okay, this must be, who I am. I like girls, and the whole gender side of things, that was just too much to deal with, too hard of a life path. I'm not even gonna think about that. I'm not even gonna, face that side of me. I've always felt a very sort of deep anger inside of me that I never looked at, but I just sort of assumed, it must be something from the past, it's fine, it's whatever. But now that I've come out, I look for it and it's genuinely gone. I cannot find it at all. Like, I don't feel that anger, I just feel free, I just feel myself. And obviously I do have a long way to go, but this is the most myself I felt for my entire life. So as time progressed, when I got to say about maybe 16, 17, you know, I sort of thought, okay, like, you know, these feelings are getting a lot more prominent as obviously you become more self-aware, and you realise that, you know, you're never gonna suddenly become male overnight like this. I know it sounds ridiculous because obviously you're a teenager, you know that's not possible, but you know, there was always a part of me that sort of thought, oh, you know, one day you'll be a man, but I didn't think any further into it. That was just to settle the dysphoria, and then I left it, and I didn't even know at the time it was dysphoria. So yeah, as time progressed, I sort of thought, okay, you're gender fluid, just stick with that. That's an easier way of putting things. That should hopefully settle your mind. And it did for a little while, a few months, and then it stopped. And then I got my first serious relationship at 18, I think it was, 18 or 19. And I was with her for 2.5 years. And I think because I'd never played that role as the partner, as the girlfriend in my life properly before, it really did sort of hit home, and I thought, okay, no, this isn't right. You can't continue like this. You cannot do this. You know, her saying my girlfriend, and like, I don't know, and it just became more and more difficult for me to deal with being female and with the intimacy. And you know, when it comes to the intimate things, I mean, I'm talking about, for example, if she had a hand on my chest, I'd put her hand up here because I wasn't comfortable with her touching my actual chest. Just lots of little things like that. It just got to me more and more. I was thinking, you know, I spoke to her about it, and she took it really well. She was really, really supportive. But it was, you know, it was a battle for me because I still was at the stage where I couldn't admit it to myself. I knew there was something very wrong, but I couldn't face the fact that I was trans. I think God forbid anything but that. But, you know, you have to do what you gotta do, don't you? So, yeah, that was sort of the main thing that made me think, okay, you need to deal with this. And then, like, later on, after that finished, I just sort of, I don't know, I just became more and more sort of just internally battling with myself, trying to convince myself that no, you're gender fluid, or no, you're gender neutral, or, you know, you're just a very, very butch lesbian. You just, you know, there's got to be another reason for it. And then there was one day when I was talking to my friends, and basically like, obviously they knew about it, and that I was having issues with my gender identity, and how I felt about myself. And they said, you know, like, because I remember one of my closest friends, she said to me, you know, because she was talking to our other friend, she was saying, you know, no, she does have problems. Obviously, she at the time, she does have problems, you know, with her gender. She needs to see a counsellor. And I was broken at that point, and I finally admitted defeat. And because I'm a single child, I've always been very independent with, you know, just everything. Like, if I have a problem, then yes, mainly I'll talk to my mum, but otherwise try and work it out myself. I'm independent, I can deal with it, I don't need help. But I realised actually help isn't a bad thing. Like, it's hard to admit to yourself that you do need help sometimes, and it's good to accept that. And so I went to counselling and I talked it through, and I became so emotional, and all of this, Jesus, 22 years of emotion just knocked me down. And I realised, you know, this is you have to accept it, and you have to talk it through with yourself and deal with it. And so I did. And since that day, which was October 29th, I think, something like that. Yeah, end of October time. I spoke to my mum, and so October 29th, I'd say, was the sort of day that I admitted to myself, and I came out to my mum and just fully sort of took it with both hands and said, okay, this is you, deal with it now. And since then, the mental progression that I've experienced, I could have never expected at all. It's been so quick that I've, you know, obviously there's been many bumps in the road, but the amount that I've progressed and become more comfortable with my masculinity, and realised that, you know, whatever's between the legs doesn't matter. You can still be a man. Like, you know, as I say, anyone out there that defines differently, that's, you know, fair enough. Like myself, as I say, I do define slightly as non-binary as well, but predominantly it is trans male. And yeah, just the fact that you sort of come to terms with yourself so quickly, it sort of surprises you as to how quickly your body's like, yeah, or well, your mind, what's the case, your mind's like, yeah, this is you, this has always been you, just have you not seen this before? So yeah, that's pretty much my story. If I've missed anything out, I will see if I can add it on somehow. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So any questions or queries, give me a shout. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe. Hope you have a lovely day. Yeah, speak to you guys soon. Peace.